Welcome to Gospel Truth with Andrew Wommack, a teaching ministry that focuses on God's unconditional love and grace, sharing the good news through broadcast television and Charis Bible colleges worldwide. And now, here's Andrew.
Welcome to our Tuesday's broadcast of the Gospel Truth. Man, I have a very special program for you, not only today, but the rest of this week. And I have the privilege of interviewing Dr. James Dobson. He's the founder and president of Focus on the Family, and of course he's no longer with them, but he now has Family Talk. And this man has impacted presidents. He and his wife have been with most of the presidents over the last few decades. He's been an outspoken person for the family, and with some of the things going on in our nation today, specifically we're talking about the abortion issue and the Supreme Court ruling that gave homosexuals a constitutional right to marriage. This is just a hot issue, and I tell you, he's been at the forefront of this battle for decades, and so I am really privileged to do an interview with him. So we're going to go straight into that interview. I believe it'll be self-explanatory, the things we're talking about. At the end of the program, I'm going to come back and share some very important things with you. And let me once again just suggest that if for any reason you can't watch all of this program or all of the rest of the week's programs, we've got some very special things coming up that I believe you will want to be a part of. And so please go to our website and watch all of these programs and get it in its entirety, because we have some very special things coming up that not only could be a blessing to you, but it could make a difference in this nation. So watch this interview. It's going to be spread out over 4 days here on our Gospel Truth broadcast. Today I have a real treat for you. I am really honored to have with me Dr. James Dobson from Family Talk. And brother, thank you so much for coming on the Gospel Truth program.
Well, don't you think it's about time? We're neighbors here.
I know.
We work 2 blocks away from each other.
I bet you we're less than a mile apart.
Yeah, right. It is a pleasure to be on your program.
And of course, I've known about you for decades, and I just want to say as a way of introduction that when you first came to Colorado Springs, I thought it was so good the way that you invited pastors and ministers in just to explain that you were here and what you were doing, and you treated us all with honor. And of course, I'm sure that nearly every person watching this program has heard about you and knows your legacy of standing for the gospel for decades.
You know, I remember that very well. We had just moved here, and we wanted to introduce ourselves to the Christian community, and especially the pastors. And there were, I think, 140 pastors that came on that day, and it was a very special time. I didn't know that you were among them.
Well,
and I appreciate you being there.
And your wife, Shirley, I visited with her, and she had gotten some of my materials, I think, and stuff like that. So we kind of knew about each other.
Shirley's been chairman of the National Day of Prayer for 25 years.
That's awesome.
And she's still at it.
Well, you know what? You are a blessing in a lot of ways, but the reason I wanted to have you on is because of the current things that are happening in our nation. This program is seen all around the world, but I believe that what happens in America has a ripple effect all over the world.
It does.
So even for the people who may not feel like they're dealing exactly with our thing, as go America, that's the way that the world goes in a lot of different ways. And we have had a lot of things, but the Supreme Court ruling that sanctioned gay marriage has grieved me as it has you. We've talked on the phone about this. But what grieved me even more was the Christian response to it, or the lack of response.
That has shocked me when that decision was handed down. My thought was the same as yours. Lord, let God's people stand up and oppose this, because it's wrong. It is evil. And there have been 3 Supreme Court decisions in American history that have had a terrible impact on us. So Dred Scott, of course, in the 1800s, which really said black people are not really fully human. And then Roe v. Wade.
The Supreme Court was wrong on that one.
They were wrong, and Abraham Lincoln really brought about the Emancipation Proclamation and overrode the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
I wish somebody had the guts to do that today.
Amen.
And then Roe v. Wade, which has resulted in nearly 60 million babies. Imagine that.
And I have also heard that 60 million, New York and California aren't required to report all of the abortions, so it's probably way over.
You can be sure of that. And then now this decision on gay marriage, it is really has the implications to reach every corner of the culture. You know, if I can speak personally, I had a black cloud over me after June 26 when that decision was handed down. And about 3 days later, I was lying in bed, and Shirley was not there yet. She was getting ready for bed. And I was contemplating this foreboding, this black cloud, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I threw the covers back, and I went to my desk and began writing. And in fact, I've sent what I was writing to our constituency. And what had hit me is that decision is not really about gay marriage. It's not. It's about everything else. It's about the entire culture war. It's about control of the public schools. And it's what happens in universities, including your own. There will be pressure on you, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I know you'll resist it, but it's going to be there. And it's about the economy, and it's about business, and it's about the military, and it's about medicine. It's about everything. We lost the entire culture war with that one decision. And the gay marriage thing was just part of it, but it's going to touch every dimension.
You know, I just saw this last week, and I knew that you were going to come on, and I thought, man, what a great lead-in. And exactly what you're saying right here. Here are some quotes. There was a homosexual activist. This is an article that was printed in Charisma magazine. And this homosexual activist and pornographer Clinton Fine said, demand the institution of marriage and then wreck it. And then he wrote, James Dobson was right about our evil intentions, he quipped. We just planned to be quicker than he thought. And this warning that you gave just now, you've been saying this for decades, saying that if we give them this, that is not all that they're after.
It's just the beginning, really.
And here they are admitting it.
Yeah. And I left USC School of Medicine, where I was a professor of pediatrics, largely, or at least partly, because I saw where that movement was taking the family, and I knew it was going to destroy it. And so I left and started a radio program, Focus on the Family. I'm not there now. But my purpose was to deal with that issue and others of threat to the family. And through the 80s, I warned people. And, you know, Andrew, people are saying to me now, I heard you. I heard you say that the family was going to be in great danger from that cause, and I didn't believe you, but now I do. That's what I'm hearing today. And here's a gay activist who is saying, yeah, you had it right. You just didn't think we were going to do it as quickly as we were.
Let me read another quote from that. This is by Masha Gessen. I
have no idea who that is.
It's a lesbian journalist. And here's a quote on ABC Radio, said, "It is a no-brainer that homosexuals should have the right to marry," she said. "But I also think equally that it is a no-brainer that the institution of marriage should not exist. Fighting for gay marriage generally involves lying about what we are going to do with marriage when we get there, because we will lie that the institution of marriage is not going to change, and that is a lie."
How candid is that? I mean, that shocked me.
You've been saying this, but now you even have the gay activist admitting it And their agenda never was to get equal rights, which that could be debated, but it's far beyond that.
And the reason they're admitting it now is they've won.
They got the high ground. They think they don't.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt them.
And you know, Andrew, I've been on the radio about as long as you have. I think we started about the same time.
Yes, but you passed me up kind of like I was going in reverse.
Not so. But that concern that's gone back so far has now been, they've achieved everything they've set out to do. And what I started to say is that in all that time, I have never been disrespectful to homosexuals. I've never been mean. I've never said things that are mean. I just disagreed with their agenda. You can't win people to Christ if you're calling them names. So they say that I'm hate-filled and all those things. But I've never, it's all on the record. Every program I've ever done is recorded. If anybody wants to check it or any of my books, I've never done that because I don't believe in it. But I am committed to a Christian, Judeo-Christian ethic, and especially the institution of the marriage.
Absolutely. And so this, I believe, is the spirit of Antichrist at work. Most people don't phrase it that way, but the Bible says that there is a spirit of Antichrist that is at work in the world. And this isn't just about gays or marriage or anything. It is literally an evil force that is trying to destroy all Christianity influence.
And let me tell you what concerns me the most. It's the children. In California and Massachusetts and other places, we're seeing the wave of the future. This is going to happen elsewhere. It's where the teachers, kindergarten through 12th grade, are required to teach homosexual propaganda. You've got these little 5-year-olds. They come in their little short pants and they sit before this teacher who has all the authority of the state behind her, and she stands there and begins telling them things that are not true. Now they're after gender. That's the big thing right now, is they tell them there is no gender. You choose your gender. It's not something you were born with. It's not genetic. It's not in the DNA. This is a chosen way of life. And you're telling 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and the parents are allowing that to happen.
That's not only going to destroy their life, but think of what that does to society. Yeah. I can't even imagine how we're going to exist once people get to pick which gender they are.
Well, it's going to change, and change in many dramatic ways. We really need to be praying for our country.
Here's a verse that I have been using in response to all of this. It says in Leviticus 19:17, it says, "Thou shalt not hate thy neighbor in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him." And it is not hate to tell a person that what they're doing is destructive to them and to other people. Yeah. Matter of fact, according to this verse, it's love. And if you don't tell a person the truth, something that is destroying them and has a potential to destroy others, you don't love them. And I think that somehow or another, the homosexual movement has gained, in a sense, the high ground, to where if you say anything opposed to their agenda, they say you are a hater, you're preaching a hate speech, when the truth is, it's just like you were saying, Dr. Dobson. I don't know you well, but I've known you for many years, and there's nothing hateful about you. And yet, somehow or another, if you oppose what they say you hate them. And that is just wrong.
Well, it's a strategy. It's like that woman said about me. She admitted that they've lied and intend to lie and confuse the public. One of the lies is that everybody who doesn't accept that whole agenda and everything that goes with it is doing that because of bigotry.
Yeah.
And it's flat out not true.
And one of their statements is tolerance. And yet they are the most intolerant people on the face of the earth. They won't tolerate anybody who disagrees with them.
Well, my son wrote a book called be intolerant because some things are just stupid. And I think that's pretty good.
You know, I was over in England and the BBC put a camera right in front of my face and says, "Doesn't the Bible teach tolerance?" And I said, "No." And they were just shocked. Their whole argument, everything they was going to say was based on that. And they said, "Yes, it does." I said, "No, it doesn't. It teaches love." And I said, "It's love to tell a person if the bridge is out and they're going to die if they go that way, I've got to do whatever I can to stop them, to keep from destroying their lives." And I said, it's love to tell a person the truth.
Well, who was our model? Christ was our model. He was certainly not intolerant, or he was not tolerant of sin. He called it by its name.
And he's the one that said, it's the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Love doesn't set people free. The truth does, spoken in love. And both you and I admit that there are people that have certainly gone about this the wrong way and have probably given occasion to some of the criticisms against Christianity. But nonetheless, it is love to tell a person the truth, and we've got to rise up and withstand this ungodliness.
But then if you do, you have to take the heat that comes with it. I mentioned the universities. There's going to be tremendous pressure, even on Christian colleges and universities and yours, Bible schools and so on, that are going to be expected to teach certain things. And if you don't, then accreditation will be lost.
Well, now, see, the good thing is I'm not accredited.
You don't worry about it.
That's one of the reasons I'm not accredited, is because, for one thing, I didn't ever go to college. I only have 1 year of college, so I'm a college dropout, and I couldn't teach in my own school if it was accredited.
Look what you've built here.
Well,
this is phenomenal.
But it's God, and so I've never had to deal with that. But, they could pull my 501c3. They could do a number of different things, and I
think they will.
I've just made a decision that, that's not going to keep me from doing what's right. If I go to jail, I'm going to do what's right.
Let me tell you what's happened with our organization, Family Talk. There has been a mandate that you probably know about that all 501c3 organizations like yours and mine have to give contraceptives to their employees, including those that are abortifacients, those that result, in many cases, to the death of a baby.
Like the morning after pill.
Exactly. And so I wrote a letter, we're under that mandate, and I wrote a letter to the President, including a statement to the President. I said, "Mr. President, I will not live by your ungodly values and decrees and the mandate. So here I am, come get me." And as a result of that, we wound up in a lawsuit with the federal government, with Sebelius, who was Secretary of Health and Human Services.
So you sent this to the President?
Yes, but I sent it to everybody. It's an open letter to the President saying we're not going to do it. So we were in a lawsuit with the federal government against the President and Kathleen Sebelius and others, and that's expensive to go through that.
Do you have any idea how much you've spent on that?
Fortunately, the Alliance Defending Freedom helped us with it, but it's a lot of money. Yeah. And a federal judge, district judge, ruled in our favor. And unbelievably, when you got the whole federal government coming down on you, we won it. But then Obama and his team appealed it. So it's under appeal now. And that may go to the Supreme Court, and we may yet lose. And if we do, it's an $850,000 fine per year for not giving contraceptives to your... That kind of, we're not opposed to contraceptives, but opposed to abortifacients. And we will close our doors. And if that's what it is, it may come down to that. Ministers who refuse to perform wedding ceremonies very well may have the same problem. I'm telling you, it's going to get really nasty. And where are you, Christian people? Where are you? Are you going to just wait until it happens and then your church is forced into certain performing certain behaviors? It's wrong.
So this interview with Dr. Dobson is going to be spread out over the next 3 days, today plus the next 3 days, and there's more to come. I encourage you to please stay tuned and also go to our website and get the entire interview. Plus, we've got some new things coming up, and I'm going to mention this more during our interview with Dr. Dobson, but I didn't want to miss an opportunity to share with you that God gave me what I have called a declaration of dependence upon God and His Holy Bible. And I'm not going to take time today to read this whole thing to you, but it is a takeoff on our Declaration of Independence, talking about we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. And then I say, since God gave these rights, no government, no man can take them away. And we just deal with the abortion issue and with the homosexual issue, saying that we love the people, we are going to reach out to them in love, but we hate the sin because it is destructive, and we pledge that we are not going to cooperate or recognize any statement by the government that would contradict our moral standard as taught in God's Word. It's not antagonistic, it is not revolutionary, it is just a statement of our dependence upon God. We believe that we have the constitutional right to do this. And so I've written this, and I'll give more information about this. I just have a brief period of time today, but our plans are to get as many people to sign this as possible. We are starting right now during this month. I'm just advertising it through my television and through my mailing list, and we're going to have people sign up. We have a website. That web address will be on your screen right there. You can go to dependenceongod.com, and you can actually read this declaration for yourself. And we also have some free gifts. Now, you can sign this declaration. You don't have to sign the declaration in order to get these gifts. But we have this declaration so that it could be framed and it could be put up like in a 8x10 frame. And we also have this declaration in a little refrigerator magnet where you could put this on your refrigerator and just remind yourself that you are a part of this. And I believe that this is going to bless you to be united with millions of other Christians who are going to be signing this. But then we are going to get a lot of other ministries, and sometime in 2016, we don't know yet the exact timing on this, we are going to be putting full-page ads in all of the major United States newspapers that we can possibly get. We also have a media kit that we are going to be giving to pastors so that they can present this to their church and ask them to sign it. And hopefully we are going to be able to get millions of Christians to sign this and just show our unity that we are going to stand for the morality of the Word of God, and we are not going to bow to the immorality that has been legislated by the Supreme Court in these things. So our website is on the screen. I encourage you to go check it out. And remember that we have some free gifts here for you, either this printed thing as suitable for framing or something to go on your refrigerator that you can see. Plus, we've got this teaching on the effects of praise. This whole week is about Thanksgiving, and even though we're dealing with some of these social issues, as I dealt with my program yesterday, we want to do this in a way that it keeps us reminded that this still is a great nation. There's so many good things here. We are thankful for what we've got, and we are just wanting to strengthen what we've got and do what we can to stand against some of this foolishness that's going on in our nation. So please go to that website and become a part of this declaration of dependence on God and His holy Word.
We hope you enjoyed today's interview with Dr. James Dobson. If you'd like more information about Dr. Dobson, his ministry, or the resources he has available, visit his website at drjamesdobson.org. In light of the recent Supreme Court decision to legalize same-sex marriage and the unfolding revelations regarding Planned Parenthood and the abortion industry, Andrew has composed the Declaration of Dependence on God and His Holy Bible. The purpose for this declaration is to give people the opportunity to join in the unified stance for godly values and defend the family as defined by God's Holy Bible. Andrew encourages you to be part of reclaiming our culture by going to dependenceongod.com and signing your name to the declaration. Go to dependenceongod.com today to receive your free personal copy of the Declaration of Dependence on God and His Holy Bible on either a refrigerator magnet or on an 8.5 by 11 parchment suitable for framing. This offer is limited to one item per household. Also, for a suggested donation of $14, you can get the one-of-a-kind Dependence on God mug that will remind you of your stand for godly values. Pastors, leaders, and anyone who wants to make a difference on this issue, we have a free media kit just for you. This kit will make it simple for you to get those you know involved in this important initiative. Make sure to download it by clicking on the free media kit button on the dependenceongod.com website today. During this week of Thanksgiving, Andrew's also offering his teaching series titled The Effects of Praise. In this teaching, you'll learn how your praise ministers your love and gratitude to God. You can get this teaching as a book, a CD album, or as a DVD album as seen on our daily TV broadcast. Each is available for a gift of any amount. If you'd like to order the complete interview with Dr. Dobson from this week's television broadcast, it's available on CD or DVD when you contact us. Go to awmi.net to see all the ways you can get these products. You can become a Grace Partner or order resources through our website at awmi.net. While there, you can discover more product details and download additional free resources. Or call our helpline Monday through Friday from 4:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Our helpline number is 719-635-1111. If the lines are busy, remember you can order ministry materials or become a Grace Partner 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at awmi.net. To write us, use the address on your screen. We appreciate your generosity and hope to hear from you today. We'd like to point out Andrew's upcoming speaking schedule. Mark your calendars to come meet Andrew at one of these events. In the month of December, Andrew will be hosting a special holiday production titled The Heart of Christmas at the Sanctuary in Woodland Park. The Heart of Christmas is a musical journey through time for all generations. Also in December, to welcome in the new year, Andrew will be in Phoenix, Arizona for the annual Gospel Truth Seminar. In January, he'll be at the Sanctuary in Woodland Park, Colorado for the annual Charis Bible College Men's Advance. And in February, he'll be in Orlando, Florida. For more details on Andrew's next meeting in your area, visit our website at awmi.net.